Welcome to this episode of Dream Plan Do, where not only do we help you dream, we find the right people to help you plan so that you can be successful at what you do. Ooh, that was good. Sometimes I don't know how I come up with these things. I am excited, as you guys know, to introduce my next guest. I always believe in divine interventions and divine connections. And I kind of feel that's how this started, how this relationship started. We're in a relationship now, by the way.
Yes.
So I am excited to introduce Tony Diaz. He doesn't know this yet, but he'll find out today. He has become one of my mentors because of the simple fact that he was very humble in saying, what do you need help with? How can I be support? And how can I help you? And that, for me, is a mentor in itself. He is a father of 3, a loving husband, an entrepreneur, and has been a flipper for over 31 years. And I can't wait to share his story, his love for God, and the love for the business, and the love of helping other people. Tony, thank you for being here today and taking the time to spend this hour with me.
Thank you so much. Very excited to be part of it. And I love you guys' vision. And I truly mean what I said, to be able to help, because I see the alignment because of what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
So the same way, I'm very appreciative to be part of it.
Thank you. I tell this to my guest. I don't like to read people's bios or even scroll through all the social media, because that's not always the authentic person. I like to get to know a person. And as I mentioned in the introduction, I was being funny, but I am very well connected with what you're doing and with who you are, and I want to continue to learn more. And I've just gravitated. We somehow connected, and I don't know if it's from the technology or just the way you say it in a way that I can follow. But I feel that I want to use my gift. God gave me the gift of voice to be able to share what you're doing with our members, with our community, with anybody that likes and subscribes, anybody out there that's listening, because I feel that you're a very special person. You've been in this industry for a long time. You have a lot of experience. And for those people that are trying to do or that have a dream, I think that you can help with their plan.
Absolutely.
Who's Tony? Who are you?
Well, immigrant, came here to the United States when I was 11 years old. Didn't speak the language, and went through that, that becoming part of a new culture. That was nice. Been super blessed, great family, a lot of support. My parents got into real estate early. I got a chance to get my hands dirty and help them fix some of their homes early. And I got my license at 18. And it's just been a journey, learning, growing through, making a lot of mistakes, and eventually finding myself as an individual. I've been very blessed, as I mentioned, as far as opportunities. And I feel that I gotten to a point in my life that I got to realize the gifts that God gave me were not for me. And it's hard to process it as you're kind of, I wouldn't say quite mature yet, but I'll get there, to recognize that the true gift of wealth is not by monetary, but more by truly helping people, right? And there is money behind it. And once you understand that sequence, it works out. And I have tremendous support from my family, as I mentioned, wonderful wife and girls. And I just couldn't be more excited to where I am. I do have a lot of bumps and bruises. And I tell people it's not that I'm very smart. I just know what not to do. And the truth about what we do, and when we are given this opportunity to share our experiences, is how are we going to take advantage of them for ourselves, right? And it could be where I can figure out how to go create an audience and make people, make money off of people, or I can truly help. And there's an interesting perspective there.
Oh, I was thinking about that. In fact, I think I was on a phone call with somebody earlier this morning, and I said that, man, I'm tired of people making money off of me. Right. You want to help, right? I love that you said that. You are owner of operator of Flip IQ. We're going to talk about that, but not yet. I like to work the people up for the meat and potatoes is what I call it. And I want to talk about your flip experience, but I really want to start. You mentioned to me you were 14 years old and your family, child labor laws did exist. Not when you're working for family, right?
That's right.
I get it. We had a bakery back in Texas, and so my children all started working at a very young age.
That's right.
That's how they bought their first computer. That's how they bought their
Exactly.
first backpack. So I get it. So you were 14 years old. Both your mom and dad were in real estate?
Dad mortgage, my mom real estate, yes.
Wow. So what did they have you doing?
Scraping linoleum, changing toilets, and of course, at 14 years old, you're reluctant, right? It's not what you want to do, but you appreciate. I've always been a hard worker. My mom always had this really interesting approach to, if you want to, you get it done, right? And for example, when I was a kid, I give my mom a lot of credit. I would go in there and try to turn on the hot water. And as Mom, I can't turn on the hot water. She said, you want to take a hot shower or a cold shower? Right?
Oh, did
and that translated as I grew to be able to realize it's about your perspective and pushing through things, and eventually became, I would say, probably my superpowers. I don't get stuck, right? And I make a lot of mistakes, but I know how to push through them. And I think that's what got us here. And it started at that journey, right? Just learning how to fix the property, and then you just grow from there. The first house I ever bought, I fixed myself. Huge mistake. And then it just, you just take the mistakes, and you can call mistakes if you don't gain, and they become experience if you gain from them, right? And you just stack your experience, and then before you know, you look back, you're 50 years old. You've done 1,100 plus flips, and you sit there and go like, what am I supposed to do with all this stuff?
You create Flip IQ.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I can't say that I can't identify you as an innovator or visionary, because I see both hats or both characteristics. How do you identify yourself?
So I'm a kid at heart. I tell people I hide behind my technology, which are my video games, and I get to show it as work, but it's really, I'm playing. To me, I'm a builder. I'm a dreamer. I always have been. And this is a passion project for me. I have a lot of good friends that always say, Tony, listen, you're a great flipper. Why are you messing with this stuff, right? It's like, stay home, do 3-4 flips a month, have no overhead, and it's good money. I mean, it's really good money. It's like top 1% money, but that's not what's for me. I made money young, so I kind of lost respect for it, unfortunately, and it's gotten me in trouble. But I learned for me, it's about what can I build, and as I got older, realizing that how many people can we truly help, because that's, to me, kind of the next thing I'm not quite there, but I'm looking for, and I'm realizing it's not a single individual's task, it's a team effort, and that's what attracts me to you people as far as your focus, and more importantly, the passion you guys have, and that's what I that's why I'm here, because it's sticky what you guys are doing.
Thank you. I mean, I didn't realize when we started the education platform that so many people said, he said 1,100 flips on his own, 31 years of experience. And I meet people with that much experience, and they are so excited and we're flabbergasted that we have an education platform.
That's right.
I mean, all I wanted to do, Ricardo and all we wanted to do is have a little group of people and share. And now what you're doing, and we're going to work up to that. I promise you. What you're doing is you're doing the same. You're utilizing your passion, your gifts, your experience, all the trips, all the times, that the bumps and bruises, as you mentioned, and you've put it together in a system. But again, I'm not ready to start there yet. Let's talk about because I want people to know why I believe that you're credible, why you are the flipper, why, when you put the innovation behind and the vision behind Flip IQ, what got you to that point. So let's talk about your first flip. By yourself, you said you did it.
So, Mariposa Rialto, little PUD development, I think paid $43,000. It was a HUD.
Oh.
So I'll tell a little bit about karma. So it's a little HUD. I go in there and I start fixing it. So it was missing one window. So I'm sitting there, and at that time, there's a lot of HUDs, right? So I'm like, hey, I'm going to go next door and borrow the other HUD's window, right? So I go fix the house.
Yeah.
I did okay. I think I made like $8,000 to $12,000. It was a mess. It just, fixing it was a disaster. I never fixed it. I had a little bit of experience, very little experience, but I fixed it. I took off almost 3 months from being an agent at that time. I actually was starting to do well, but then I started doing the flip here, and it was just a disaster. But um, you learn, and as I went through it, I go sell the property, and then guess what property I bought? The one next door that I stole my own window from. So I'm like,
that is karma.
Of course. So,
so we're like, wise.
Yeah, exactly. So that was interesting, and life lessons. But it's been really a great journey to be able to learn that. I met a ton of people, and it's interesting. I have my construction as long as I'm staying in my lane in autopilot. Like I look at houses once, but you have to know how to back into it correctly. And I think I would say that's probably the experience that took me from that first flip to now. And I've done some big projects. As a matter of fact, down the street here on Mission, on the corner, I built 19 houses.
Wow.
In my early 30s. Wow. So that was interesting. And you know what happened in 08.
Yeah. Yeah. Not the fun stuff we like to talk about.
Yeah. But I have a lot of those, it just trying to do more and learn from the experience. And I went from just flipping to buying land, entitlements, and that crashed. And then I created PTSD from development, and I've just been doing flips. And I can tell you my flips are very vanilla, just plain.
In and out.
Get in and out. And if I was to tell somebody, not only is that a good business, and there's a lot of ways to make money, but if you want to be consistent, de-risk the flips, which is important, especially in the beginning. Stay simple.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I do probably about 20 to 27 calls a day, with twice a week now, because I can't do them every day, with people that are wanting to get into the business. So a lot of times it's the husband that's a contractor or working on his GC license, and the wife that's a realtor, or the wife that wants to be a project manager, and she has the funding, and the husband somehow wants to get involved. So to these people that are listening, like and subscribe. I have to say that I listen to all these podcasts. Everybody says it, so I'm making it part of my.
Of course.
I know it feels weird, right? But with truth be told, so these people are, they're listening, they're watching, they're watching all of our videos and things that we're talking about. What advice would you give them? Because you've seen quite a bit, and you just said stay vanilla. What does that mean?
Yeah, so the experience is what's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
People that can stay in the business is because they're willing to break through their mistakes. And what's interesting, I get to see a lot of times where these coaches, these gurus, these wholesale companies are selling people deals that they know they're going to get hurt, right? So essentially they're killing their own audience. And the complexity of some of these transactions happens based on the unknown, right? When you're walking in, we're all hopeful. And you end up in a situation where you short fund yourself, you're getting to something just going to take too long. And at the end of the day, I would probably say the number one deal killer is time.
Oh, yeah.
So
true story. So
if you get rid of the time issue by keeping something simple, I always share 1965 and newer. The reason that year is important is your copper plumbing doesn't have to be changed. Your electrical's grounded. And from there, generally, as long as you have foundation issues, you're dealing with paint, carpet, windows, roofs, maybe a pool and stuff. But you're not having to get too complicated. And depending on your approach with the city and things like that, you have a lot more leverage to make mistakes that are not going to kill you. And you don't have those unforeseens, right? And I tell people after many years, you do develop x-ray vision, and it's not that you see through the walls. It's just, where the problems are because you already paid for them quite a few times. So I would say 1965, make sure it's copper and you're not sitting there having to the electricity. Paint, carpet, window, stick to the same template. Don't go and, I tell people, don't get cute, right? Your crystal ball on how to flip a house are your comps. See what the comps will look like, get a pattern, figure out what that looks like, and copy it. The guys that have been doing it for a while, they get it, right? It's not about flipping. You can flip houses for trophies or paychecks.
Yeah, good boss work on. I want to put that on the next trophy at our event.
Right? You have the trophy.
Yeah,
I got
that's
a lot of those.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Yeah, because We talk about building the profile, building the investor profile, building them, and then the lessons learned. But after so long, those lessons become very expensive.
Yes.
And if the operations isn't making money, how do you sustain?
Yeah. You just got to push through.
Yeah.
And minimize. And if you were to sit there, and if I could go back and teach myself, which I don't listen very well, but even if I could go back, as far as the simple is key. If you're not sure, or your skill set doesn't allow you to be good on the project, figure out your skill set and then pair yourself up with somebody that's opposite, but equal. That 1 + 1 3 logic is, if you're a realtor, find the contractor. If you're a contractor, find the realtor.
Right.
Trust each other. Don't overlap. Make sure that you have equal investment of time and capital. And our friend ChatGPT can do a really good job as far as really aligning that, and being able to back into things that are simple, one thing at a time, and then start stacking. And that's the way, if you were to simplify it, is find your counter, and then what is your value, right? If you are a real estate agent and you're wanting to come in, find a deal.
Right.
Now you're walking in with value. If you're a contractor, same thing. Hey, I have a little bit of capital. I can do the construction, whatever that balance is. It's figuring out what you have and what you don't. Is when you're trying to do too much. I can tell you, contractors, just human nature. If they see you coming and they know that don't know you're just a paycheck for them.
Yeah.
And they're going to take your profit and more.
Yeah.
And it just, and maybe it's not that they're bad people, but at the end of the day, it's, they're in business, so they make money, right?
Opportunity.
My guys come in and they give me a price and they just stop bidding, and I tell them the price and they just say, oh no, right? Because I'm fair to them.
Right.
And it has to be fair to me. And but it took me forever to get there.
Oh, that's, those are some big gems that you just dropped. It's so very true, especially in all business, right? In all business, because I think when I was in my 20s, there was a friend of mine, and she said, hey, you should go work for the TV station and sell the commercial spots. And there was one of the ladies, and she was known as the number one. And she's like, oh, I'm cutthroat. And she just downright said, I'm cutthroat. I'm competitive. And she knew what her value was, and she knew she wasn't going to negotiate her price. And that was her land, and that was her territory. And this real estate industry can be like that as well. But what I've learned is meeting people such as yourself, other investors that have taken the time, and the community members, the people that are willing to learn from people that have already been through the hard times and have the bruises. And so for me, I feel there's enough business for everybody.
100%.
So I'm not cutthroat. I don't think Tony's cutthroat either. And
Plenty to go down.
Exactly. And you just gave a formula that if you didn't rewind, or you didn't listen the first time, you should rewind and listen, because people do. They overthink it. Yep. They try to wear all of the hats and be all of the roles instead of just collaborating.
That's right.
That's what I love about Flip IQ. I mean, I just see it. I see it when you were explaining all of the components. We're going to get to that. I'm working up to it. I really am. I'm trying hard not to talk about it, because I just get so passionate about the vision and what all the capabilities that Flip IQ has. So for the community, and for those of you that are members, or those of you that are in a community of your own, it is so important that you work with people such as Tony, and you pick their brain. Any chance, any opportunity you get, because they're very knowledgeable. He's very knowledgeable. Let's talk about, so you've been flipping, you have all this experience. You said you lost your passion. What would that feel like? You lost your passion. I mean, you had to do it. You have, three daughters. You have a wife. You have a home. I'm sure you have some properties of your own. So what do you do when you lose your passion?
I think it just has to do with alignment. And I think life really makes it clear when you're not aligned with what you're supposed to do. And I went through a real hard time trying to figure out the why, right? And a mutual friend of ours asked me, why are you doing this? And I just started blah, 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 blah. And then he says, Tony, you don't know why. And of course, right, the ego gets bruised very quickly, easily. So I thought through what the question meant, and I realized I didn't know my why. I had built a lot of things. I'd done well, but I wasn't very clear what I needed to do. And to me, that was the big question for me of figuring out what all this meant, right? And I found something interesting in regards to how I feel, and this is my opinion, of how do you get to learn your purpose in life? And I think that question's asked a little bit, maybe the wrong way, because it's not about understanding what the purpose is, but how to get to it. And if you realize that it's by serving others and also being able to be in control of your feelings, react properly, then you will find that purpose, and you'll realize that that purpose is not as important as being able to get there. Right. So what is it that we think that what's our purpose? The first thing you think, like, well, I'm going to be on a stage with a mic and I'm going to save the world. Right.
Yeah.
And that's not what it is our purpose could be just to be a good friend, good parent. Right. But when we're looking for it in a way that's more ego driven, then you end up buying all the books and looking for it the wrong way. But life has this funny ways of beating you into what matters. Right. And for me, that experience was to just understand what mattered, who I really am as a person. That was painful. Accepting myself for who I am as a person. And it's not all good, not all bad, right? But that's who I am. And truly understanding how I needed to move forward because I was clear on my vision. And that's what I learned through this process. And it's made a big difference. I went through some classes. My wife, on the way back, one of the classes said, "What changed?" And I thought about it, and it was like, nothing has changed, right? I see it different. I see that I have to rethink a lot of things, but the change is not going to happen out of a class. It's going to happen with my everyday direction and decisions, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that I found myself in a new place in life where it's like a new door, new challenge, new experience. So I feel that I'm in the right place, but I also know that I'm very new at this perspective, and there's a lot for me to learn. I know in my heart what I need to do. I just still growing in it, and it has to do with my experience and how to empower others in a way that's win for them, and it's also win for me, right? And it's that win-win balance that is easier said than done.
Oh, of course. And it's about your surroundings too. I had the opportunity of meeting John Maxwell in my 20s. And I hear what I hear when you speak is you've leveled up.
Yeah.
And sometimes your surroundings don't always level up. So it's awkward. It's uncomfortable. And it's easy for us to be comfortable. But what I think is beautiful about what you're doing is that you're helping others. So you're helping others level up, which is just going to keep leveling you up even more. That's again makes me excited about this relationship with you because I see it. I can taste it. I can feel it. Like it's there. Like it's just there. Like I know it's there. And you don't get that with everybody.
No, I appreciate that.
You
like
don't
I
get
said,
that with everybody.
One of the things, I want to be clear, right? That's what's in my heart. Okay. For me, I also know there's a journey, and there's going to be situations where, to be honest with you, this tech is opening some doors that I didn't expect, right? And there's people that are coming to us, and it just, like you sit there, first reaction is like, cha-ching, right? But then you realize is, what am I learning and who do I help, right? And that balance, I can tell you, I had a few big slaps in the face, and God has a really interesting way to...
like the window.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly good point. And it's just tough, right? But I feel that I'm being guided the right way. And I think that guidance also comes around the people you bring in and the accountability, because at the end of the day, we do need accountability. And that accountability comes from, how are we going to help people who's aligned? And like I said earlier, it's not about what can we do, it's how we can collectively help people. And that's where really is the excitement. You guys done a great job in being able to create an audience. I kind of become hermit in my house and build all these toys, and I tell people I have the best technology nobody knows about.
Well, that's okay. That's why we're collabing,
right.
The realtor and the investor. Right. So that's what we're here. We're here to share. I mean, God gave me the gift of gab. It's what I was told in my 20s, and I think I'm finally putting it to good use.
There you go.
I was so excited about what Tony presented to me, and it actually started at a round table with a couple of my team members, my marketing director, one of our project managers, our operation manager. and my business partner, Ricardo. And I mean, immediately, it's like this man was speaking my language. I don't know if we were speaking in tongues and nobody else could understand, but we were in a whole nother world. Yeah. So I was so excited, and then I couldn't make it happen in the time I wanted to make it happen. So then I got another group of people, investors, my advisors, people coming into the community, and Tony did a presentation. And by this time, we have now an enhancement. Now we have even more tools, and now we have even more accessibility. And I got to jump on because it's gonna the ship's gonna sail, and I'm gonna be waving at it like I wanted to be on that ship. Let's talk about Flip IQ.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about Flip IQ. Tell us what it is, and then I want to talk about how it became.
Sure.
Because I think that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. So typical story, right? It's born out of necessity. And what's interesting about what it does, and the need in the beginning was to be able to systematize things. There's a book that I really like called The E-Myth. That's one of the books that kind of opened my eyes to understand your lane. Where do you fit in the system and how to make it work for you, right? It's just basically management systems, processes, accountability, KPIs, all that fun stuff. And as I got to understand we were really good at what we did, we just, every time we got close to 100 homes a year, I had a really big diminishing return.
Oh.
So I realized there's something that I'm missing. What is it that is not clicking? And it was the necessity to highly rely on other people's skill set to grow versus a system.
Oh, wait, say that again.
So whenever you rely on an individual to grow, that's your weak point. They get hurt, they quit, they can come into your office and ask for a $50,000 raise.
True story.
Which they did.
Sounds like you went through it.
Yeah. So when you change the process to where the process itself is what matters, and you plug in people or resources, and you have the ability to see the data and make decisions when it matters, that is when you create a system that's able to be customized and still do what you want and gives you the information proactively, not reactively, right? And there's a lot to unpack there. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's being very clear. And I spent a lot of money. I hired a very smart consultant, and he sits down and he puts up a board and $500 an hour, and he's going to teach me this magic secret how to unpack this thing. And the first question he says, what is the first thing you do? I was like, oh, buy the house today. He says, no. What is the first thing you do? Like, open a file before that. I'm like, what do you mean? And he actually made us break it down to, you click a button, it opens a file. You upload the information. Wow. So I can tell you there's 1,326 steps to flip a house.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, there is.
Buy the book.
and that includes all the way from opening up the file to getting your lockbox out of the house, because I left a lot of them, or turning off the utilities because I pay people's house bill, the water for years with that because I didn't turn it off. But it's a system, right? Once you created, and now you have the right people put in the information, you become really, really scalable. But it's very painful to get there. So now you have to wrap it around technology, then workflows. Right. The problem with it is, prior to AI, this was all manual. And I had 24 employees. It was very expensive. And the biggest complaint is just you're collecting too much information that is not always relevant, which they're 100%. AI has completely changed that around. And it's now systems that were being built for humans. Now you have systems that keep human in the loop per design or when needed. And that is what you're going to see that's changing drastically. And I believe that if you're not aware of what Claude is or what Claude could do through your Chrome extension, or you're not sure what I'm saying, you better figure it out, because it's going to leave you behind. And it is interesting how fast it's moving, and it's scary what it can do. And it's not being able to go to ChatGPT and do a funny, video or whatever. It is way beyond that, and you will have to understand it, and it's very powerful, and it's scary, but it's something that we integrate into our systems to where now the systems are training us, walking us through processes And those 1,300 points of data are now integrated into a system that helps us actually do a job very, very efficient. And it does it all.
I something you said, it said when you need, because so many people are afraid of AI because they feel they are going to be replaced. But you said when need be, right? I can't quote you verbatim, but when need be. I heard last night, I think pharmaceuticals or pharmaceutical companies now, or I'm not sure if it's actual pharmaceutical company or just pharmacies, but they're going to start using AI for prescription refills.
Yeah.
And so people are a little weary about that because what are we going to do with the people that have addictions or that are trying to get opioids or, or maybe the blood pressure medication changes? How is AI going to know this? But you said, I say that because so many people are afraid. It's change. It's different. But I also have seen how you're utilizing it for the good.
Yeah. No,
and you're going with the flow because it's where we're going.
Yes.
We can't resist it.
100%. You have to figure it out where you fit, what tools you're going to use. And I'll tell you something really interesting. 4 months ago, if you were to ask me, can a machine flip a house? I would say, no, AI can't flip a house. It can flip a house.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Now, it's not going to do the contractor's job. It's not going to go to the city. But you're able to create a system, and those are the types of values that if you have the right system and more importantly, the right network around it, then it's magic. Otherwise, it's just a machine. And I say this, crap in, crap out. That's AI, right? If you're not prompting it correctly, if you think you're going to go out and ask AI, hey, here's an address, give me a scope, do this, do that, and you're going to get exactly that crap. It's just going to be that. But what we've been able to put together is those 1,300 points of data, our processes, and be able to empower people, because I tell, as much as I integrate the AI, the decision's still human. I will never let anybody or a machine buy a house for me. I've done that before.
I'm glad you said that. It's almost like you can read my mind because I was about to get there because I probably have 50% of the people that are watching that are thinking this man is saying AI is going to take over flipping. No. And then I have 50% of the people that are like so lost and they're like, wait, what's happening here? And then we talk about relationships. We talk about networking. We talk about this business being a relationship. And boom, you just opened the door to my next question. So how are you still keeping relationships in this world of AI and flipping and what the system that you've produced?
Well, you're asking the magic question. And I say there is a magic component to our technology, and it's the right place at the right time and being able to speak how to bring value to the person on the other side of the phone. And it all boils down to relationships. Agents are getting called by people, special robocalls, over and over and over, and that's just continuing to reinforce the issues that we're dealing with this automation. So whenever you can call an agent and know who they are, how do they make money, do they double end, what investors they work with, and for me not to sit there and figure out how to get a deal, but how do I become value to them? Then you win. Because the question that people, the thing, and I made a funny meme, it's everybody's saying the same thing to those agents. It's like, do you have one of them off-market deals, right? It's like, what you got there? And the fact is just you're reinforcing that negativity of why they don't like investors or wholesalers, right? And I'll tell you something interesting is if you can redress what wholesaling is, be upfront with an agent and explain to them, listen, I'm a resource to you. Whenever you send me a deal, I will provide you a data-driven offer for you to be able to inform your seller whether they should or not sell to an investor, and I will make you that offer. And if I can't buy your home, somebody else will, that I'll bring to you, and you get to double-end it. And the agents sit there and go like, how do you make money? Because I'm going to buy one house from you every other year, and I got 200 of you. That's 100 deals a year, and you're bringing them to me. It's a huge win, but you have to understand that. Yeah. But you got to be able to get in front of them using the right data. Otherwise, you're going to come across like most people do, right? You're just calling and asking. You're not calling and giving. So that's the magic.
The power of community.
That's right. And it's the win-win.
It's the power of community. And you've actually systemized it. I have two business partners, and both of them, one is in the record label and the other is in real estate. And both of them always tell me, Christina, can you just give me bullet points? Because when I speak to them, we get it, but you're going so fast and you have found a way to be able to give the people bullet points.
Yeah.
With the relationship still.
That's right.
So if you didn't catch this, he can identify the realtor, what type of properties they buy.
Yep.
Source. Or source. Okay, very good. Yes, that's right, source. He can tell you if they double-ended.
That's right.
The system can tell you what areas they're in.
That's right.
The system can even tell you, do they work with investors? Mm-hmm. So we're pretty much populating a query.
That's right.
To build a relationship so that you can bring value. Did I say that right?
Yeah, exactly. And you add a little bit of a layer on top of that, and you realize the community component. One of the challenges we have is whenever you're reaching out with an agent, you're having to break through the noise, right? First thing is, who are you? What are you selling me, right? So if you shift and you create a community that is tied to providing value, and you bring in title, escrow, hard money, they already have a relationship, and you invite the people that are already bringing value to that network. It's different for me to call an agent and try to convince or explain versus the title company inviting their agents and saying, hey, I have an invitation only. This is how you benefit. And by the way, it doesn't cost you anything. And this is how you win. It completely changes the dynamics, because it was hard to put this together, because I was trying to figure out, and how do I make money here? How do I make money there? You take that away and you say, how do I help as many people as possible? The pot of gold behind that answer is so much bigger that I could have done on my own. And that's what it is, right? It's just bring value to everybody, get rid of the friction, don't charge anything, and then empower it by making sure everybody wins. And to be honest with you, I don't know anybody else is doing it. And I found it by accident. I found it, I believe, because I realized that's how you win. And when I saw it, I looked around and there's just nobody in this side of it. Everybody's over there charging $99 for this and that, right? And for me, that empowerment for the community to be part of it, and not that everything has to be free. It's just you bring value, because there is a necessity for services to be there, right? Escrow is going to do escrow. They're going to charge and title. But I found how to bring us all together so we all win. So I'm excited about that.
Let's walk through this. So I'm a realtor. Can I use your system?
Yes, 100%. And it's free. And you get to post the property, pick your buyer, see their track record, and you get to double end, and it costs you $0.
So there's check. And then we just talked about wholesaler. So I'm a wholesaler. Can I use your system?
Absolutely. And the beauty of wholesaling, if it's done correctly and upfront, you as a wholesaler can put your properties that you found direct to seller. We have a way for wholesalers and agents, the wholesaler has to be licensed, to be able to invite a seller. So let's just say you go to a homeowner, and the homeowner says, I'm not giving you a listing. My cousin's a realtor. Homevestors send me an offer. We love Homevestors. Send us an offer at this price, right? And you're competing with people. If you shift your perspective from, I need to get you in a contract, whether from an agent investor to get paid, to how do I help that seller by being able to give them more options based on what they need, have them go into the marketplace, negotiate directly, but the buyer pays you.
Beautiful.
So everybody wins.
Win.
Seller, exactly. And now you don't have to compete with a person that has to get a contract to get paid. That's an agent or an investor. So the key here is, how do you help the seller, right? And those are the things that I think we figured out. And I'll be honest with you, it took us 3 years to interconnect the value for everybody, because when I was like, this is great. And then the agent's like, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for me. And then once you realize how to back into it, it's actually fairly simple, but you have to think, how do you help that person? And then it came together. I was like, wow. And I wish I could take the credit, but no, it was people that gave me advice, right? And having the right heart to move towards that direction. And every time I figured out, how do I make money? It just never worked.
Did you like the Rubik's Cube when you were younger?
I like to take my mom's blenders apart and blame the mates that they sold it. No, but I like to take stuff apart, and that was too easy. Not to put it together, but I needed more
Yeah,
work
you need it work.
context.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
See if I can make the blender fly.
So what if I'm an investor and I have money to invest? Because I've been meeting a lot of new investors and they're unsure because everybody wants their money, but they don't know how to underwrite.
Yeah.
They've never, done this before. Can they use their system? Or is there
Yes.
anything developing for them?
From that perspective, at the end of the day, you still have to be able to know how to go through the process, right? What I tell people, the best of the system is that it does everything. The challenge is it does everything. So you need to understand what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put somebody that says, hey, Tony, I got $500,000. I'm going to come in and run. They're going to, you give somebody a Ferrari, they're going to hit the wall, right?
Yeah.
There's a process. So the point of that is if somebody has capital, partner with somebody that understands what they're doing, that has that experience, learn, move forward, and then eventually be able to learn based on proven processes. Don't burn your money on mistakes that we already made.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So there's definitely a necessity, or at least a very strategic approach that I would take to make sure that you de-risk the transaction. And that's by partnering with the people that already, I tell people I've done enough. I don't need to practice, right? I want to make sure it's going to work, it's going to follow through, and I don't need the headaches. And that's the type of relationships they need to be.
I love the feature that, and hopefully I can share this.
Yes, please.
I
Open book.
I love the feature that you recently shared because I'm recording all day. I will be out in the field all day tomorrow. So I'm not in front of my desk, but they'll send me properties. And or I'll find a property and I don't have no follow-up. But your system allows that relationship to continue through emails, through text messages. It's catered and it's personalized, not catered. It's personalized to the person that you're working with. And it keeps your business working for you while you're driving an hour and a half to get back to Long Beach or wherever you're going. I really love that because for me, I feel like I've missed out on a lot of opportunity with deals or even funding a deal because I'm just not in front of my desk.
Right.
Talk a little bit about why you added that feature, why that's important. We touched on AI, but for me, that integration, even though is generated by AI, it still keeps the relationship going. So that's what was important to me.
Good question. And one of the things about AI, like I said, I chase my wife around the house talking to about AI, and she's just trying to leave. I'm very passionate about it, but there is a limitation, and at the end of the day, it's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's well done, it's helping you be relevant, and that to me is the key. And also relevant, specific, valuable to that person, right? So the automation component we built in is not to get rid of the connection, is to reinforce it based on the data that we have to continue to be relevant to that person. So it's not about just getting in front of somebody, but making them understand, even if somebody sits there and says, Tony, is this a bot? Is this AI? Yeah. But I know who you are, how you make money, right? But it's the relevancy component.
Right.
It's not just me blasting somebody emails and texts with the same thing over and over. Give me a deal, give me a deal, right?
Good point.
So there is not a cheat component of AI, especially again if it's relevant to the person and to your business. And that's the balance that people I think have to understand. It's not just when you're dealing with an organization like ourselves that we got this kind of down to science, I'm your competition. And if you don't have a tool, or let me rephrase it, if you're not bringing value, at least balance with ours,
mm-hmm.
we're going to beat you every single time, right? And you said something at the beginning, there's just plenty. There's more than enough for everybody, especially if you have the abundance mentality, because that also creates even stacks it. But the point is, you just got to understand that if you're talking to people and you're using automation, it just has to be very relevant.
2 points when we're talking about volume is when I met Ricardo, he was doing flips with, friends and family. And so, averaging, he was doing well, but it was just him by himself. Sure. Running the operations. Maybe he had a JV partner that was the contractor. now we have 23 active flips to date today.
That's awesome.
At one time.
Sure.
That's all running at one time, right? We are now attracting members that have already flipped on their own, but that are looking to scale in volume. And so they are coming to us for operations. So to be able to not withstand, but to be able to, I guess, go with the current flow and current, I have to have somebody like you in my corner, because there's no way physically, mentally, there's not enough hours in the clock to be able to run the operations and to continue to grow, especially with the technology and AI and the direction and the competition that's out there. I want quality.
Yeah.
And I feel that what you said with the volume and the relationship and the abundance that we can grow in volume through a system like Flip IQ.
Yeah, you have to have systems. There's no way around it. And no systems, you need a lot of people, and people can become unreliable, or maybe they're not aligned, whatever it is. The system's going to follow it as well as you build it. And that's what creates the true value. And it's just not flipping, it's anything, right? If it's automated, you create systems. And then I don't want to go too deep into basically the integration of the AI through the scaffolding on the back end. Basically, you're building small bots, agents, as they call them. I try to avoid the word agents because we deal with agents, so it gets a little, so I call them bots. Those bots are trained to do a very, very specific job. And the magic of the training is making sure the variables are really clear. What happens if this? And from there, that bot can make a phone call, send a text, and it can project manage. Did you show up? Send me the pictures. This is where you're supposed to be. So it can do quite a bit, but it has to be well put together. So to your point is, as you have new guys that are getting in and they're looking at the financial, do I partner with somebody? I can tell you for a fact, and this is something that, you learn as you go through, is the mistakes will cost you way more than a partnership, way more than a partnership.
That's a good point.
And secondly is, why reinvent the wheel? At the end of the day, we all go through the process, and my way is not the only way. There's a lot of different ways to get there. But once I have it figured out, I can tell you, I literally look at the house once, and that's it, and I'm done. Time, effort, return. My time is, once I have it and I do my scope of work, get back, then all I see is my report is like, it's on schedule, perfect. It's an escrow, great. It closed, great. Rinse and repeat.
And your investors love you.
Yeah, everybody wins.
Yeah,
right?
everybody wins.
It's de-risking their capital, my investment of time and my capital as well. So somebody that is looking to scale, I can tell you, these systems are not easy to put together. And it's not, is the unknown that kills you, right? It's like, okay, I can use Google Docs and this and that. But once you understand what to look for and how to be proactive and navigate those variables, then that's when you can sit back and know that your outcome is going to be consistent, and that you can sit there and take a leaner investment, make 30, 40 grand, but 2-3 of those a month is a pretty good year.
Oh, I would say so.
It works really well.
Who else can use the system? We talked about realtors, wholesalers. So who else? Who else out there would you feel that this would be a good fit for?
So I believe,
besides Fix and Flip Hair Connect community,
I believe that we can create a network of people that are looking to learn. I also believe that this is a business that requires a lot of attention, because there's a lot of things to learn. So what I tell people when I get kids, not kids, just people are coming and saying, hey, I want to learn this.
Yeah.
My question is, are you ready not to get paid for 30, 60 days, 90 days? Sometimes they get paid earlier, but you realize it's a full-time job. Right. That you can't call somebody and then expect to be gone for 2 days and then the deal's going to be there. You can't steal in slow motion. And you got to be able to be really, really clear of what it is that they're doing, right? It's a process. You got to build relationships. You got to be Johnny in the spot, and you got to be able to, like I continue to say, bring value. So the key is for somebody, and your question is, who does it serve? Is anybody in the process. If it's somebody that has capital, that's looking to partner like somebody like you guys, excellent opportunity. It keeps and gives clarity and transparency to the transaction. Plus, you learn as you go. So that's great. Investors looking to scale, great. People are looking to walk in, hey, I don't have money, but I have time. Those are awesome. Is the people that walk in and say, hey, I want to learn. I don't want to put a lot of effort. I don't have any money, and I'm just going to go out and give somebody some dollars, but not invest time. That doesn't work. And not our system. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. I can already hear it now. I don't know how I can hear you through the camera, but what makes you different than all, I think I can say Investor, Lyft and Property Radar and all HubSpot, and what makes you different than all of these other applications that I know I heard you. These people were thinking.
Great question. So I'm obsessed with all this technology. And I'm not going to say any names, but I basically understand their business really well because I either use their systems, I saw what they did right, what they did wrong, and I'm just going to say it. Our value proposition is win-win. We get paid when they get paid. Most of those are self-servant, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just how a smart business person looks at business. How do I make money, right? To me, like I mentioned, and I'm not trying to put myself in a pedestal in any way, but we saw it in how do we help people. What I just got a glimpse at is there's a bigger pot of gold, and I continue to build that way, and it has reinforced because the more we help, the bigger return we get, right? And I'm sold, so I'm just going that way. And it just comes down to, for example, I think Investor Lift has done a great job in finding a niche of the necessity. There's some components that are missing, and there's some expenses that have to be paid that not a lot of people are willing to reinvest the money because there's some issues there, and that's their business, and they've done great, and they're making a ton of money. Mm-hmm. But we're offering the same thing for free.
Right.
Same thing for the realtors, right? It's like coming in here, here's the value. What are you taking from here? What do you want out of it? Nothing. Because I will eventually buy a house from you every other year. Things like that, and you quantify differently. And again, I don't want to start sitting there picking because there's a lot of systems that I am very aware of how they work and what the value is. And I just turned around and looked at it and said, how can we just help? And like I said, it just really built itself to be a really neat system where some of the pushback from my friends and advisors was like, Tony, this is too big, man. It's like, go make money, focus on this, man. It's like, come on. It's too much. Why are you building this? It's like, you're boiling the ocean is the word my friend said. And I'm like, I think it can boil. Bring enough of the people.
It's boiling because I can feel it, and I love hot water. It's a jacuzzi.
That's right.
It is a jacuzzi. We're about to have a party in the jacuzzi.
And it's about bringing the right people and giving them the value so we all win, right? And that's what's really exciting. And now as I'm starting to put this together, like I said in the beginning, I mean, it's getting really, really exciting. And the people that bring value get a lot of value out. The people that are walking in half-baked walk out half-baked, right? So it's just, I tell people, it's got to be fully committed. And we all started from nothing, right? And we all are going to make the mistakes. To me, if I had a network of people that I was smart enough to be able to rely on instead of me beating my head against the wall, I mean, like that little fly in the window, the door's open, but
that's me.
So we're the door open here, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's the people that are willing to put the time to grow. That's really the best answer. And it doesn't matter if they're investor, realtor, capital, they just have to be part of it and be fully committed.
When I started this podcast, we were coming up with titles, and then this one was ideal, the Dream Plan Do, because every real estate, every entrepreneurship, I mean, everything that we do, right? Even from a kid starts with a dream.
That's right.
And not a lot of times do we know the plan. We try, but not all of us are great readers, or not all of us are great at following directions. Mm-hmm. And so it takes a team of people. It takes systems. It takes people that have failed. And then the doing part, like I recently have recognized by just talking to people such as yourself, I get inspired to see how much you just continue to push through and where you're at. I've met a couple of people in some networking events that know you and speak highly, highly of you. That's how I know that I have a good circle. It's like, oh yeah, I know Tony. Now we're good chums.
Awesome.
But the doing part, like what better than to do with people that are doing all of this work, and making it easy. You bring the plan, you're bringing the plan, and you're helping their dream come true. I don't even know if I said that. I'm just really excited because I'm there's so much in my head of how much I want you to wrap your mind around what he has put together. And I can't wait to introduce it to the community. I'm ready for my advisors to jump on board with me. And if they don't, then you know what, I'm gonna just buy it myself. Because at this point, I see the value. I wanted to ask you something real quick. I see your emails, but I really paid attention to you sent me a property the other day, and I asked you before the podcast whether this had always been on your email. And I don't know if it was just God speaking to me on this day or I needed to see it, but on the bottom of your email it says be present and honor God in all you do. And it was lit up in blue, which meant it's a hyperlink. So I clicked on it and I'm like, oh, I could put a prayer request in here. If you don't mind, I'm going to switch gears real quick because this says a lot about who you are as a person. For me, how I see you. And when I saw this in the bottom of your email, I thought it was really neat that you do this. Tell me more about this hyperlink. Be present and honor God in all you do.
Well, thank you. So as I said, I'm very blessed. And for me, I feel that I have a necessity to give back, right? And that's for me. I'm sharing it, but that's a reminder for me publicly that I have to be present and honor God, right? It's an accountability thing that's for me. And it has a great way, we're always asked to be witnesses. And that's a way for me to kind of throw myself out there. And there's two things in the application is prayer request and then suggestions, right? And the suggestion part is I'm waiting for somebody to go and they go, Tony, you're saying you're honor God. You didn't do that with our conversation. So I wanted to create some type of accountability. And I created that application for the purpose to be able to get people to see it, be part of it. So I do invite you guys, and it's 100% free. And I haven't actually shared it publicly, but I'm glad you brought it up because the idea behind it is for us to be able to share our story because that's what truly inspires people. I can sit there and try to preach, but at the end of the day, it matters how we act and how God has impacted. That to me gives us the ability to share our story. And it's called His Glory. It's hisglory.ai. It's free. And the idea behind it is just put it underneath your signature that gives you the ability to share your story, request prayers, and then people can come in and kind of put in their comment publicly or anonymous if somebody comes and says, come on, Tony, right? Okay, so I wanted to open that up to sit there and take that advice because I know I need to be held accountable because sometimes we like to tell ourselves stories, right? And that I felt there was a way for me to commit and share my appreciation for maybe appreciation, not the right word, just the little bit that I can do for what I feel God has done is to share His story. And so we're super blessed. So I'm glad you brought that up. And if you guys want to use it, again, it's 100% free. Yes. And the idea is for us to, as a community, to share stories so we can inspire each other and help each other. And it's not specific to a religion. It's about how we, how we can help each other. And that was the core of that. So thank you for asking.
I
got me kind of going there.
That's okay. So that happens when we're dreaming and planning and doing. Right. I did. I am actually going to add that to my email. I saw it last night and I'm like, oh, I don't have time to do this right now because it's 11 p.m. and I have to look fresh for my podcast tomorrow. But I am going to do that. I'm going to share that with the community and I am going to put in prayer requests in there. And I'm also going to put suggestions in there.
There you go.
Tony, I really love this. I was very excited. I think I was calling your team. It's like, hey, is Tony available? Is Tony available? Is Tony available? And I'm happy that you said yes to do this. tell everybody how they can get more information about Flip IQ. Besides through the link, tell them how they can find Tony.
So right now we're probably about a month away before we're going to launch the marketplace. It's flipiq.com. I would say through you guys. The reality, we're more of a support operation, so I would feel that your audience will have a much better engagement into our community through you guys. If there's operators we're looking right now as a strategic growth plan to align ourselves with people like yourself, because as I mentioned, it is a big lift, and we're looking for people that are strategically aligned, title, escrow, hard money, that see value in what we're bringing. So then this way, if those people are interested in figuring out how they can grow with us, again, we're not charging, we're not asking for any feedback, any money back for transactions. So we're keeping it super simple. But I would say if they're looking to learn, absolutely through you guys. If it's a big operation, you're looking to use the system or title and escrow, Flip IQ, just go through it, Tony at flipiq.com. And we're super excited to be part of and be able to attract organizations like yourself. And that's what I meant by in the beginning. We're at the right place, and just going to take a lot of people to get this thing going. Once it gets going, I'm really excited to see how many people are going to help.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. The last question I have before we wrap up. So we never know who's out there liking and subscribing and out there talking to us about all these other apps, or their hesitation on AI, or their yays for AI. But I always ask my guest, because authenticity is very important to me. Authenticity is very important. It is to you. Anyone listening, how could you share? What advice could you give them on being authentic and being true to themselves?
Interesting. Okay, I wasn't expecting that one.
Sorry, I should have prepped you on that one. This is the real answer.
Ooh, that one's a tough one. Well, I would say for me, I had to accept myself in order to be able to be who I really am. I grew up, like trying to fit in and try to figure this out. And, I did a lot of things to try to be something, or at least pretend to be. I bought every possible thing you can buy and spend a lot of money. But I think ultimately finding yourself was what actually, the word authentic, right? It's who you really are, not who you're trying to be. And I think you have to find it through your experiences. And I also believe it's a part of the journey. So it's not being able to sit there and be authentic just because you say you're going to be, right? You have to be able to process it, find yourself. So I think it's a process, and that's kind of the be present and honor God, is understanding that you have to enjoy it today, right? Be present with yourself, family, appreciate, learn, and then be able to continue to move forward. So I think it's a journey, and be true to yourself. Don't try to be like somebody else, and be okay when you step on it, because we will.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tony, for being here today. I really enjoyed. I always love our conversations. I love when we start talking technology. I love when we start visioning. I really enjoy our time together. And for all of you, on the next episode of Dream Plan Do, I hope that you take a lot of this advice that was shared today, all of the advice that was shared today, and be present. I was very present today.
Yes,
I was very
really
present today. And always remember that I don't try to be like Tony. I want to collaborate with Tony.
There you go.
Dream, plan, do, where the world is your platform to do anything that you put your mind to and your heart to. Until the next time, join us again. Dream, plan, do.